So for the next historical comp slash player ADP deep dive we're doing here,
Yeah.
we're not going to go back as far as 2012. This time we're going back to 2018.
All right, a little more recent.
Jordy Nelson was just let go by the Packers after his worst season since 2009. And Davante Adams, at 6'1", 212, steps in with his quarterback being Rodgers, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And prior to 2018 showed flashes, but didn't become an elite wide receiver 1 until age 26. And in 2018, he was the wide receiver 3 in standard and the wide receiver 2 in PPR. Now, there is a player who did not move teams, just like Davante Adams in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Plays with a top quarterback in the league, consensus top 3 arm in the league.
Yep.
Showed flashes up until his age 27 season, but this player did not become an elite wide receiver 1 until his age 27 season. It's Mike Williams.
I was trying to figure out who you were talking about, but okay.
And not quite the exact size speed comparison that Rashad Bateman and Antonio Brown are. Mike Williams is significantly larger than Davante Adams, 6'4" to 6'1". But both came in at age 26 or at 27 and started performing like a wide receiver 1 for the first time in their career. Showed flashes before that, but started performing like an elite wide receiver 1 in age 26, 27. Now the difference is Jordy Nelson was let go by the Packers, whereas Mike Williams is still playing with Keenan Allen.
Re-upped.
So he's not going to have the target share that Davante Adams had when Davante Adams started becoming a perennial top 3 wide receiver in the league. But Mike Williams opened the year last year with 6 touchdowns and 471 yards through 5 weeks and was the wide receiver 3 in standard and the wide receiver 4 in PPR before going a little bit downhill in the middle of the season due to an injury that he suffered in week 5. After week 5, he suffered a knee injury. But once he was healthy again and got over an absence due to COVID, picked it back up, and finished
strong.
Wide receiver 9 in standard and wide receiver 12 in PPR.
Yep, finished strong.
So that's my historical comp from Mike Williams is Davante Adams with more target competition.
So
he's not quite Davante Adams. We know that.
No.
The situation he's in with a top quarterback and the relatively late wide receiver 1 breakout, the comparison stands, and his ADP right now, at least on fantasyfootballcalculator.com, again, data from 679 fantasy football mock drafts between May 16th and May 26th, was 75. ADP of 702.
Oof, that's gonna climb. That can't be accurate.
Again, man, that's why I wanted you to look up these ADPs concurrently with me on Underdog. Where is he falling on Underdog? Because that just doesn't seem right to me.
It's completely off and it's not even close. His Underdog ADP is 34.8.
Okay,
so
that sounds 30. A lot closer to where it should be.
Sandwiched right in between Michael Pittman and Jalen Waddle, which I think is more than fair. Going off the board as the wide receiver 14, so just missing being drafted as a wide receiver 1, almost the highest almost ceiling of wide receiver 2 that you possibly can. So relative to his finish last year, it's a slight dip. Now, of course, the thing about ADP is everybody's healthy this time of year, right? 100% of people are healthy. So it evens out, right? There are players like Christian McCaffrey is back healthy. Saquon Barkley is back healthy. Just a couple of names who are now, who are getting drafted over him, who are back healthy. DeAndre Swift, you get my point. So I would say he's getting appropriately drafted as the wide receiver 14. around the middle of the, or right at the top, I would say, of the 4th round in 12-team drafts. That's about where Davante Adams was going before he did it again when he had another elite season and catapulted himself into the 2nd round of drafts before ultimately the past 2 years being a bona fide 1st round pick. So the ADP trajectory, at least on Underdog, is right there. Because even after Davante Adams' first strong year, the following season, you could still get him, I would say, around this same ADP. Now, again, to your point, Davante Adams was the clear alpha X-receiver of Aaron Rodgers. Mike Williams will have those weeks, but he's not the clear alpha as long as Keenan Allen is there. And for what it's worth, Austin Eckler is a top 2 or 3 pass-catching running back in the league. So he'll have his weeks as like the lead dog there as well. That being said, it's a fantastic offense. It's a fantastic quarterback in Justin Herbert. At this point is an easy QB top 3 quarterback, not just redraft but dynasty as well. In fact, I just watched him go in a slow draft best ball to the 303, which is pick 27 in a 12-team draft. So somebody just went up all the way at the top of the 3rd round and drafted him. It might be a little bit of contingent-based drafting because they also took Cooper Kupp, but point stands. I literally just watched him go 27th overall. Over Leonard Fournette, over T. Higgins, over his teammate Keenan Allen, over Josh Allen.
There are Las Vegas odds makers that now have Justin Herbert having the best odds at being the QB1 this year over Josh Allen. They just did that. Overnight last night. They made that change.
You can make that argument. For him.
But Las Vegas bettors are putting that on paper, which isn't something you see unless it's a serious possibility.
Unless it's legit, yeah. And Herbert has that argument. He's special.
What's going on, Iron?
What's up, Iron? So it is more than fair, if you believe in this offense, to go get him as soon as your 3rd round pick. Now, again,
Herbert or Williams? Who are you talking about here?
Sorry?
Are you talking about Herbert or Williams?
Mike Williams. Going back to your conversation about Mike Williams.
Just want to clarify.
Because I'm in a slow draft puppy, and I got the first pick for the first time, and I took Taylor, and at the turn I took Tyreek Hill and Javonte. Alvin Kamara went the very next pick. Alvin Kamara is sliding to the top of the 3rd round. I think there's more concern growing of a potential suspension, so we're seeing his ADP fall. Plus, he was good last year. He wasn't great.
Right.
Mike Williams went the very next pick. Again, Leonard Fournette's on the board. T. Higgins is on the board. Josh Allen is on the board. His teammate Keenan Allen is on the board. I could keep going.
But it looks like he's being properly valued by ADP on Underdog, whereas in a lot of other, not formats, not situations, a lot of other platforms. There you go. He is not being valued where he should be, and you guys can take advantage of that, or at least should be taking advantage of that. We had a question earlier this week from Sam, one of our new members and a friend of ours. He asked, I believe it was, who's better, Mike Williams or was it Christian Kirk? Who did he ask about? It was Mike Williams versus...
It was probably a silly question. If those were the comparisons.
It was either... Because he asked about A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith in another question right after that. And his Williams question did not involve either of those Eagles wide receivers.
No.
But I think it was Mike Williams or Christian Kirk. And it was like a clear cut.
It's not even close.
It's not even close. It's Mike Williams. So if you have people just questioning whether or not, based on Mike Williams' first 4 to 5 years in the league, whether or not he is a wide receiver 1 this year, you guys can take advantage of that. Absolutely. And not just in redraft, not just in best ball, not just in things that have ADP right now. If you can take advantage of that in dynasty, he's not a young wide receiver, so he should come at maybe a little bit of an age discount. But for over the next 3 seasons, bro, he's set up to be a low end to mid tier wide receiver 1, because Keenan Allen is only going to get older. And Austin Eckler is the same age as him, and we know at what age running backs typically fall off. Austin Eckler's a little bit different of a case because he plays such a versatile role, but it could be coming. In which case, yeah, a Mike Williams could be walking into a situation 2 years from now where it's him and nobody else, or him and Josh Palmer. And
they'll
Isaiah
draft a
Spiller.
Rookie high.
Right.
They'll draft a wide receiver high maybe as soon as next year. Now, to be fair, DraftKings does have Mike Williams ranked 34th. So I would say your competitive drafters are appropriately putting him. You have to draft him in the 3rd round. If you want him, if you want to make sure that you get a player like him, you got to go into the 3rd round to get him. You can't, I said it originally top of the 4th. Might not be able to wait that long.
No, it looks like it. I mean, and he is a guy that I would make a priority. Once I get to that certain part of the draft, I would make it a priority to try and get him on my squad. Because I believe in him. The only thing that held him back last year was a little bit of a knee injury, and Keenan Allen stayed healthy all season. If he didn't have that knee injury through week 5, week 6, week 7, when he was getting 5 targets a game through that span, early in the season he was getting 8 targets, 10 targets, 12 targets, 14 targets. And that dropped off when he got his knee injury, and it never fully got back to that amount of usage. But if he never got that knee injury, bro, imagine what Mike Williams would have been doing. Imagine just I like Mike Williams a lot in 2022 and beyond, in pretty much all formats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Iron, we are doing much better. Thank you for
thanks for asking, man.
Much
appreciated. we're doing. Yeah, we're on the mend. We're good. You can expect more stuff. You can expect a more consistent flow of content from us starting next week.
Yeah, we've been basically just doing live streams over the past 2 weeks while Nick gets over it, and then once we both were getting over it. But yeah, we'll be back in the driver's seat very soon in terms of getting content out for you almost every day. But yeah, I mean that is, I think my point has been made with regards to Mike Williams. Did you have anything to add there?
No, I mean, just to point out, there's not really any vacated targets to speak of for the Los Angeles Chargers. 134 in total, but most of those actually come from the tight end position from Jared Cook leaving. The wide receiver target share, literally there are 3 vacated targets. They must have had some super deep player down the depth chart walk away who only got 3 targets last year. Couldn't even tell you. Point is, the wide receiver room is very much the same in LA, but Mike Williams was one of the focal points of that. This is not a situation where we have to worry about work available. Mike Williams is absorbing the same amount of work that he received last year, which is 129 targets, and with about 102 vacated from Jared Cook. Does Gerald Everett absorb every single one of those? Maybe.
And you have to ask yourself. I mean, yeah, there might not be vacated targets from other wide receivers outside of the 3 from some unknown player, but Austin Eckler has been very vocal about getting his overall workload scaled back. Do some of Austin Eckler's targets go towards the guy that they just gave 4 years? Was it 4 years, 90 mil? What was it? What was that?
I thought they gave him 3
years,
for 60.
3 years, 60. Okay, well,
I think that's what it was.
Yeah, we can look that up for you. But still, regardless, I mean, my point stands.
60.
Austin Eckler could be seeing a little bit less work, and some of that work could be going Mike Williams' way. So
could.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about Mike Williams' workload.
No, just wanted to call it out, but
solidified.
yeah, nothing to be worried about there. So yeah, you got to go down to the third round to get him though.